There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our marketing plan special. My focus today is going to be to explain to you very clearly on how the Price marketing plan works. So, we're going to be going through a couple things today. Firstly, I want to walk all of us through what I would consider to be like a one-to-one presentation, right? Because if I'm talking to you face to face, I'm not really going to pull out the slides and like show you this is like income one, income two, income three. I'm instead going to explain to you how you would make money here in Prife International. So for the first segment of our conversation today, I'm going to do just that. We're going to be talking in a way where I'm just going to explain how the money works. After that, we're going to go to the slides so you can match everything that I've said clearly with where it appears in the slides so you can actually understand what I have said in the framework of how we present it in the Prive International slides. And then after that, we're going to leave it open for questions and answers. So if you have a lot of questions, I'm happy. I am here to answer every single question that you have for me. So, without further ado, because I know everyone here is excited to learn how the money works in Prife International, let's get to it. I'm going to do this. Hi, Ron from the Philippines. It's a pleasure. Now, how do I wait? Hang on, give me a second. Whiteboard. There we go. New whiteboard. All right. So look, if I were to be meeting you face to face, okay, let's see. Um, Meeting participants cannot edit, it cannot start activity, no collaboration cursors. There we go. I'm presenting, all of you guys are viewing. Perfect. Okay, editing tools. All right, there we go. Look, so we're starting this conversation with a few base assumptions, right? The first base assumption is that you already know what Prife is. But just in case you're tuning in and you're like brand new, let me give you like the elevator pitch of what Prife is, right? So Prife International is a company that started in Malaysia 4 years ago when they obtained the rights to the first exclusively patented terahertz emitter that was created by Deishang Technologies, invented by Professor Yang Wengjun. Our secret sauce is that this is the world's first handheld certified terahertz emitter, and we got the exclusive global distribution rights to distribute this product that works around the world. Now, having this exclusive product, we started marketing this around the world. So, when you think about Prife International as a company is very linked to the products that we carry. We are a product-based direct sales company. There is no concept of like investment or doing anything here without a product attached. I mean, in the future, we may even have some digital products and not physical products, but those would also be products that you purchase. So every product in Prife International has a point value associated with it, and that shall be our starting point here. So when you talk about the products in Prife International, you have products. Wait, you have products, and then you have the associated point value to them. When we talk about membership in Prife International gives you a free membership the moment you purchase products that exceed 200 PV. If you were to buy any products in Prife International, whether a single product or a combination of products that go from 200 to 599 PV, you get a silver membership. gonna mute everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, by the way. I will take them as I go along. So if you were to buy any products in Prife International with a PV, with a singular PV or a combination PV of 200 to 599, you get a silver membership. Any products that you buy that can go anywhere from 600 to 1999 PV, you get a gold membership. And any product combination with a PV that is more than 2000 PV, you get a diamond membership. Now, I'm making this very clear because for a lot of you who are used to looking at the marketing plan presentation, you would see, uh, okay, I just want to confirm, can all of you see what I'm writing on the whiteboard? In case you're not seeing it, drop me a message because I just got one saying that they're not seeing anything on the whiteboard. So if you are seeing, May seeing it, so I'm happy about that. Okay, we do have a bunch of people who are able to see it. So Yilan, it might be on your end. Uh, Try scrolling. You may have been scrolled away from it. Okay. So when you look at the marketing plan presentation, you see, for example, when you sign silver, you get $20. Or when you sign a silver, you get $70 in like loyalty redemption points, etc. These are true, but only true in a limited context. The reality is that all of the income is calculated as a percentage of the entry PV when a person joins Prife International. So let's look at some examples, right? Let's say we have a person who's buying a classic. The classic has 200 PV. Let's say a person is buying an ion shield. Now, an ion shield is 210 PV. Let's say a person is buying a premium plus. A premium plus is 400 PV. Let's say someone is buying, you know those wristband, bracelets we have, the Vitality Energy bracelets that pump out a ton of negative ions. Those, at least in Malaysia, your mileage could vary. The Vitality is 70 PV. So the PV that we have differs. Now, if someone were to just buy one Vitality bangle, they don't even get a membership in Prife International because memberships start at 200, right? But they could buy any of these products, be given a silver membership, and yet find that the income that they earn will be different. For example, and this is me like speaking ahead, but for those of you who are familiar with the plan and the presentation that we have, you would have seen that if someone joins as a silver, you get $20 in your sponsor bonus. Now, again, I am stepping a bit ahead, but the $20 is in fact 10% of the PV and is only true if that person is joining as a silver member buying a classic. Because the classic is 200 PV, the sponsor bonus is 10% of that 200 PV, which is $20. If they were to buy an ion shield and get 210 PV, then they would be getting 10% of that 210, which is $21. And if they were to be buying a premium plus, they would be getting 10% of the 400 PV, which is $40. So when we talk about income in Prife, all income is a percentage of the PV that that person is buying when they join Prife International. I know the presentation simplifies it and it's like silver, $20, gold, $60, etc. But remember that that is a calculation as a percentage of PV. Okay, so we know that Prife International has a bunch of products you can buy, different products in different markets, and anyone can buy any combination of products that they want as long as they have more than 200 PV in that single purchase, in that single DO, then they get a membership, a silver membership, 200 to 599 PV in that DO, they get a silver membership. 600 to 1,999 PV, they get a gold membership, and 2,000 PV, they get a diamond membership. So if someone buys like a MagnoSeek, for example, a MagnoSeek is 2,000 PV, they get a diamond membership. If they were to buy a Pro Plus, it's 2,000 PV, they get a diamond membership. If let's say they buy five premium pluses, it's 400 times five, 2,000 PV, they get a diamond membership. Okay. So what we have clarified to ourselves here is the fact that all income is a percentage of PV. PV that the new member is choosing to join Prife International with. And they choose the PV by choosing their products. Okay. So in Prife International, some people would join our company from your introduction, from your personal introduction. If you have personally introduced a product in Prife International to someone and they have joined as a member by buying that product, thank you. As a reward, we are giving you sponsor bonuses. Sponsor bonuses, which consist of the sponsorship bonus and the loyalty redemption points. And I'm verbally explaining this now, and then I'm going to write it on the board, and then I'm going to show you the slide. So if you're not taking notes, don't worry about it. As long as you guys get what I'm saying, that's the main thing right here. Okay. So when anyone who personally introduces people to Prife International, we reward the introducer with the sponsor bonuses. The sponsor bonus is given to whatever account is listed as the direct sponsor, as the sponsor of the new member who is signing up. This is different from the income that you get from your network. The income that you get from your network, we don't actually care who the sponsor is. Anyone who joins Prife International, they are given an empty binary network that goes to infinity. Binary meaning every person gets two people below them. So you get two people below you, each of them get two people below them. Every person who joins Prife International gets a blank binary network that goes to infinity. As accounts start appearing in this binary network, you make your network bonuses, which are your level pairing bonus and your group pairing bonus. The income that you get when new accounts are placed in your empty binary network, for that income, we really don't care who the sponsor is. Anyone could have placed them in your network. You could have placed them in your network, in which case you'll get the sponsor reward and the network bonus. Maybe you introduce someone and they introduce someone and they happen to fall into your network. You'll still make money from that. Or maybe someone that you don't even know, someone way above you, made like a spelling mistake or something and put your name and just place them below you get the money as well. So as long as an account falls in your binary network, you get the network bonuses. We're going to talk about the network bonuses next because now I want to hone in on the sponsor rewards. The sponsor rewards are given to anyone who introduces anyone to join Prife International. And joining is by the purchase of products. And therefore, your sponsor bonuses are also a percentage of the products. So the first sponsor bonus is what we actually do call, I forgot how to spell apparently, what we do call your sponsorship bonus. This sponsorship bonus is 10% from the PV and is paid out 80% into your bonus wallet and 20% into your loyalty redemption point. So the sponsorship bonus is 10% from the PV, right? So now let's look at what that means. If you have introduced someone to join Prife and they're joining Prife by buying a classic, then the PV for a classic is 200. You get 10% of that as your sponsorship bonus, which is going to be $20. If they bought an ion shield, it's going to be 10% from the 210 PV, so $21. If they bought a Premium Plus, it's 10%, $40. If they bought one Vitality Energy bracelet, they can't even be a member because 70 is less than 200. But let's say they bought three of these or four of these. Four of these is 280 PV. Yes, correct. Four of these is 280 PV, which would still be a silver membership because it's within this range, but you get 10% from the 280 PV, which is $28. Whatever amount that you earn here in your sponsorship bonus, 80% of it is going to go to your bonus wallet, which means you can withdraw this as cash, and this one goes into your LRP, which you can use to get products at 80% value. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Okay. So you get two rewards when you introduce someone into Prife, the sponsor bonuses. One is the sponsorship bonus, and the other one is what we call, or what I call, your sponsorship LRP. LRP stands for Loyalty Redemption Points. Loyalty redemption points you can use to get products from Prife International with an 80% discount. So I'll talk about that later. But here's how much LRP you get. And remember, these are still based on sponsorship. So it's still going to be a percentage from the PV that the new member joined. But this has a difference based on whether your new member is a so if your new member is a silver account, you get 35% from the PV. If your new member is a gold account, you get 40% from the PV. If your new member is a diamond account, then you get 50% from the PV. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's look at some examples, right? So if you had seen our usual presentation, then you would see that, when you sponsor a silver account, you get $70 in your LRP. Now, that is true, but again, that is true in the specific case that your new member has joined buying a classic, which is exactly 200 PV because 200 times 35% is 70 USD. But just going with these examples, right? Let's say your new member has joined by buying a Premium Plus. It's still a silver account, but because it's 35% from 400, you will get 140 US dollars in your LRP. Similarly, for the gold one, you would have seen that if you sponsored a gold account, you would get $240 in your LRP. That is only true if the gold has come in by buying exactly 600 PV. Let's say someone's picking up two premium pluses, right? So two premium pluses is 800 PV. The LRP that you would get is 800 times 40%, $320. Okay, so what we have clarified here is that when you do the act of introducing someone to buy products in Prife International, and therefore you are their sponsor, their direct sponsor, then you will get 10% from the PV as your sponsorship bonus, paid out 80% to your bonus wallet, 20% to your LRP, and you will also get your sponsorship LRP, which is 35% from the PV if your new member is a silver, 40% from the PV if your new member is a gold, and 50% from the PV if your new member is a diamond. This is 100% LRP. Okay, so these two bonuses you get when you introduce someone to Prife International. So let's say you introduce Mr. A, right? Because A has joined as a member, you're going to get the sponsor bonuses and the sponsor LRP from A. But let's say A then goes on to introduce A1. Because A introduced A1, A will get the sponsor bonus and the sponsor LRP, and you will not get anything from the sponsorship bonuses because obviously you didn't direct sponsor them. They did. A did in this example. However, anyone who has joined Prife International gets an account, and that account needs to be placed in a network. And now we're gonna go into the network bonuses, which are level pairing and group pairing. These are what I'm calling the network bonuses. So whenever someone joins Prife International, they get a blank binary, right? So it looks like this. There's no one here yet. And as people start joining, they will be placed here, 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 here. The rules with the blank network that you get is that when you place people, you cannot leave a gap, right? So if you put someone here, you can choose to put the next one here, you can choose to put the next one here. But for example, in this blank binary, you cannot place someone here and then place someone here. You can't leave an empty space. You got to fill them out as you go along, right? So whoever who is joining Prife International, they have to be placed in this network somewhere. Like they have to go here. And let me erase these things. Okay. When people are placed under your network, you make money. You make the level pairing and you make the group pairing. So let's first look at level pairing and see how that works. So level pairing, you're going to get number one from level one until level infinity. So starting from the first level right here, all the way down, you're going to get level pairing. And remember that in the network, when we look at the network bonus, we don't care who's the sponsor, right? And just to hammer that point in, this is you. You have sponsored A. You're going to get the sponsor bonuses from A1 and the network bonuses from A. But let's say A then sponsors A1 and A1 sponsors A11 and so on. You're going to get the sponsor bonus from A. A is going to get the sponsor bonus from A1. You're not going to get anything. A1 is going to get the sponsor bonus from A11. But you will get level pairing or group pairing from all of these accounts over here with some caveats, and we will get into that. So first one, level pairing, you get from level 1 to level infinity. Now, when we talk about the start of your network, the start of your binary, then yeah, you're going to know these people, right? But let's say your network has grown to a point where you are now at this level 100. So you could have like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 people here. You could have 20, 30, 40 people here. You will get the level pairing even from this level 100. What do you get level pairing from? You get level pairing from the first account on the left and the first account on the right. So in level one, when we talk about the first, I mean, there's only space for one guy here on the left, right? So this guy is going to give you level pairing, and there's only space for one guy over here. He's going to give you level pairing. If you brought them, you'll get the sponsor bonus and the level pairing. But let's say over here, you didn't bring A1. But in this empty possibility of two spaces here, the first one to enter level 2 is A1. Therefore, A1 is kept for level pairing. Let's say B sells two products. B sponsors two people, B1 and B2. Now, B can place people in any way he wants, Let's say he puts B1 over here and B2 over here. And let's say he sponsors B1 at 11 a.m. and he sponsors B2 at 11:05 a.m. on the same day. Because when we look at the first on the left, first on the right, we don't look at physical position. We are looking at timestamp. What is the first account measured by time to enter the level? And therefore, because B1 was entered the network at 11 a.m. and B2 entered the network at 11:05 a.m., B1 is held for level pairing. And similarly, let's look at the example of your level 100, right? Now, actually, no, okay, level 100 and then let's look at level 101. So, when there could be 30, 40, 50 people here, we don't know. But the account that is selected for level pairing was the first account to enter this level by timestamp. So let's say it's this guy over here is going to be this guy. And on this side, let's say it's this guy over here is going to be this guy. And similarly, in level 101, the account that is kept for that is going to pay you level pairing is going to be whoever here in level 100 drops a person here. And then they drop a person here. So the first one by timestamp on the left and the first one on the by timestamp on the right get held for level pairing. So what happens to the rest of these guys? Well, you're going to get group pairing from them, and I'll talk about that next. So just remember that right now we are talking specifically about level pairing. If you are used to the traditional way that the marketing plan is explained, level pairing is income number three in your 10 ways to earn in Prife International. But there is level pairing. So, okay, first thing, level pairing goes from level 1 to level 100. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Level 1 to level infinity. That's what I meant to say. Level pairing goes from level 1 to level infinity. What goes? The first guy to enter the left side and the first guy to enter the right side on the same level. And again, I know I've said this a million times. We don't care who the sponsor is. Like even in this level 100, level 101, you may not even know any of these people. Because like you know your upline. Do you know your 100th upline in the network? Probably not, right? Same. But the first guy on the left, first guy on the right is going to pay you level pairing. Okay, what is paid? What is paid is 40% from the lower PV is what is paid in level pairing. So what does that look like? So in level one, because you're probably going to be the one sponsoring people here, it's probably a lot more in your control. So let's look at level one as an example. Now, and again, if you're used to our traditional presentation where we show you numbers, you may not realize that the numbers are actually percentages. So let's say over here, there's a classic. Someone buys the 200 PV classic. Someone over here buys a 200 PV classic. This is a silver. This is a silver. 200 PV because they're both the same. So it's just 40% from 200 PV. You're going to be getting $80. But let's say over here, someone buys a classic, a 200 PV, but over here, someone buys a premium plus, which is a 400 PV. Now, this is a silver. But when you get $80 here, it is not because these are silvers. It is because we're just looking at the PV and 200 is lower than 400, and therefore you're getting 40% from the lower PV, which appears here as $80. Let's say someone over here buys a Premium Plus. It's a 400 PV, still a silver. Someone over here buys a Premium Plus, still a 400 PV, still a silver. But now you're getting 40% from 400 PV, and therefore you're going to be getting $160. Let's say someone here buys I don't know, a MagnoSeek, right? Someone here buys a MagnoSeek that's 2000 PV. Someone here buys a MagnoSeek that's 2000 PV. You're getting 40% from the lower PV, which is going to be $800. But let's say someone over here buys a MagnoSeek. And then someone over here buys a bio, right? A bio is what, 2,500 PV? They're both diamonds, but you're going to be getting 40% from the lower PV. You guys get the idea. So we don't actually care when we talk about level pairing and group pairing, whether the new accounts that are being filled out in your binary network are silvers or golds or diamonds. We're just looking at the PV. So let's say someone over here is buying a ion shield that's 210 PV, and someone over here is buying another ion shield, right? 210 PV. You're going to be getting 40% from 210 PV, which is going to be slightly above $80, like 81 bucks or something. So in the beginning stages, you may have some measure of control over this. As time goes on, however, you're going to be not really having a lot of control, and then it's going to be a bit of a gamble. So let's say, for example, in level 100, you may not know any of these people here. And even in level 101, you may not know any of these people here. It just by luck, someone drops an account here, someone drops an account here. But first on the left, first on the right, you're going to be getting 40% from that lower PV as your level pairing. Okie dokie. So that is level pairing covered. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. If you don't, I'm gonna assume you guys like understanding what I'm saying. Okay. So now that level pairing is covered, let's take a look at group pairing. So how does group pairing work? The thing you gotta know about group pairing is that, okay, let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, okay. Group pairing. This pairing starts from level 4 until infinity and covers every account that is not level pairing. So what does that mean? So when we look at your network, this is level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and then yeah, I skip to level 100. But like here you have the possibility of up to 8 people here in level 4 in the empty binary network that you have been given when you join Prife International. And the first guy to enter this side, let's say it's this guy, he's held for level pairing. And the first guy to enter this side, let's say it's this guy, he's held for level pairing. Group pairing takes everybody else, every other person that is not paying you level pairing, everyone else is covered under group pairing starting from level 4 until infinity, and they're all used to give you that group pairing bonus. So let's say over here you have a bunch of accounts here. Let's say this guy's level pairing. He's not gonna give you level pair. He's not gonna give you group pairing because remember, an account can either give you level pairing or group pairing. But with this understanding, I want to make something very clear here. Let's say red. Level pairing is from level 1 to infinity. Group pairing is from level 4 to infinity. That means you don't get network bonus from this guy, you don't get network bonus from this person, this person, this person. You don't get network bonuses from these people. Why is that? Because level pairing pays you from level 1, but and pays you 40%, but only takes the first on the left and the first account on the left and the first account on the right. So group pairing is what starts to cover all of the other accounts that are not the first on the left and the first on the right, but group pairing only starts from level 4. Therefore, you are not getting level pairing from this guy and these guys, and you're not getting group pairing from them either. But that's okay. That is why a lot of people, if you notice, they kind of plug the first couple levels with their customers, and they just do this. I'm gonna get a different colored pen for this one. Oops. I don't know how to do that. Okay. So that's why a lot of people, when they start, they sell products, they put some accounts here, and then they sell more products, they put accounts there. Okay, that's not working. And then they sell one account here, they sell one account here, and then they start going wide like this. And then they start bringing leaders. They put the leaders in level two. So when the leaders start building, they put the leaders in level three. So when the leaders start building, they start getting everything from level four onwards. Okay. So level pairing starts from level one, group pairing starts from level four. Group pairing covers everyone who is not covered under level pairing. Okie dokie. Now, what does group pairing actually pay you? So, group pairing is the first bonus where we start to discriminate based on what is your account at the top that is earning the group pairing bonus. Why do I say that? Because if you think about it, whether you are a silver, gold, or diamond, it makes no difference for the sponsor bonuses you get because they're a percentage of the PV of the new member coming in. And it makes no difference for the level pairing that you get because it is also a 40% percentage, a 40% payout from the lower PV of the first on the left and the first on the right. It's the 40% is the same whether you're a silver, you're a gold, or you're a diamond. But when it comes to group pairing bonus, here's where we're starting to see some major changes. Now, group pairing bonus is also a percentage of the PV that's in group pairing, and you get that and you get different percentage based on your account. So I'm going to highlight your account over here. If you are a silver, you get 8% from the group pairing PV. If you are a gold, you get 10% from the PV. And if you are a diamond, you get 12% from the PV. So these are percentages that you get based on your account at the top. And the percentage is paid out as a percent of the PV that is coming through all of these other accounts that are not paid out in level pairing. So in this example of level 100, the first guy on the left and the first guy on the right is going to be paying you 40% from the lower PV as your level pairing. Everybody else, and when it comes to group pairing, we're not looking at levels anymore. We're just looking at totals. So in total, everyone, not including the ones that are paying you level pairing, the totals on the left and the totals on the right are compared. So let's say, for example, on the left, not including the accounts that have gone in level pairing, all the ones that have been considered for group pairing totaled 1,000 PV. And on the right, let's say they total 1,500 PV. If you are a gold account, and I'm going to use gold because it's 10%, so it's easy for my head to do math. If you are a gold, then you get from the 1000 PV on the right side and the 1500 PV on the left side. Once again, you compare, you look at what is the lower amount, and you get, because in this example, you're a gold, you get 10% from the lower amount, which is 1000 PV. So 10% out of this, you're going to get $100 in your group pairing bonus. Group pairing and level pairing are also 80% bonus point and 20% LRP. just to make that clear. Group pairing and level pairing are also split when they pay you, and 80% goes to your bonus point, 20% goes to your loyalty redemption points. Okay, so you had 1,000 PV here, you had 1,500 PV here. They're pairing bonuses. So we take a look at the lowest one, which is 1,000, and we pair that, or we take that out of both sides. So when we take the lower amount from both sides, one side obviously goes to zero, but the other side, if it has a bit more, will have a balance that's being carried forward. In this case, after you take out the 1,000 from both sides, you're going to get 500 PV left over. This 500 PV will be carried forward the next day, the next day, the next day, waiting to see if you have any more accounts coming under group pairing on the other side. Now, if you have any group pairing coming in on the other side, that is going to be paired with the amount that's being carried forward over here, and you will get the payout from that as well until one side goes to zero or both side goes to zero, and then you can start accumulating that all over again. Now, if you are already a Prife International member, when you log into your back office, you can go under Navigate and go under Placement Hierarchy. Type in your security password. And when you see your account, below your account, you'll see a small link that says details. Click on details and a little chart will pop down telling you what is the carry forward PV that's being passed down. You will see that as accumulated PV. Now, if you don't maintain your account for more than 6 months, you will lose 50% of this accumulated PV that is being passed down. You don't lose anything in your level pairing. What you lose is just uh what you lose is just 20% of I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay. When you don't maintain your account for 6 months, you lose 50% of the carry forward accumulated PV. When you don't maintain your account for 12 months, that is one entire calendar year continuously, then you will lose 100% of the accumulated group pairing PV. What you lose is only the accumulated group pairing PV that you have, accumulated. So let's say, for example, and final example before we go into the smart reorder program, because that is engine two. Let's say you are selling products only, right? So this is you. And when you sell products and you don't have anyone else if all that you do is selling products and every single person in your network is there because you have sold them a product, remember that level pairing is 40%, which is more than 8, 10, or 12% in group pairing. So if you have control over placement because you did the sale and you are the direct sponsor, then this is the best placement strategy for you. Forget about group pairing. If you are the sponsor and you have sold the products to everyone and you get to decide where to place them, just plug them like this, one on the left, one on the right, one on the left, one on the right, one on the left, one on the right. Because if you do this, then you're going to get 40%, 40%, 40%. You're going to be getting level pairings, and 40% from the PV in level pairing is more than what you get in group pairing. Where does group pairing come in? Group pairing comes in when you start having other people in your network who are now doing the business. All right. So let's say you have sold products to all of these people. And then from all of these people who now have accounts because they bought the product, most of them are like, you know what? I don't even care about this. I don't want to do the business. I don't even care that I have an account, whatever. But suddenly, this guy, Mr. A, he's like, oh my God, I'm going to start selling these products to people. And let's use this specific example. So you have sold products to eight people, right? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. And then suddenly this guy over here that I have labeled A, he's now like, ooh, I want to sell a product too. And then he goes and sells a product. In Prife International, we have a rule that the first person that you sign can only be signed at the bottom left of your network. So in this case, A has sold a product, but at the bottom left, you have placed someone. And therefore, A has to place his first person, A1, down here. Now, A1 is A's direct sponsor, so A will get the sponsor bonuses and the sponsor product points and the loyalty redemption points. Let's say B over here wants to start selling products too, but you've already put two people over here because you're going for your level pairing. So B's first person, B1, would be placed over here. Now you will get level pairing from A1 and B1. Even though you didn't sponsor them, you'll get the level pairings from them. And when they start bringing people, more people, when they start building the network over here, you're not bringing any of these people, so you're not getting any of the sponsor bonuses. But the first on the left and the first on the right is going to give you your level pairing, and these other guys are going to give you group pairing. So if you're selling all the products by yourself, just do one on the left, one on the right, stack them down like a kebab or a satay or whatever food in your country that consists of a stick with stuff in it, stack them like this. When you have people who are sponsoring other people below you, that's when you're going to start maximizing your group pairing bonus. Okay, so we've covered a lot here. And there are a couple things I want to say. When someone becomes a member in Prife International, they get the month that they join and the month after that as active status. After that, after the second month of the second calendar month of their membership, if they log into their back office, they will say in bright red flashing light, inactive, inactive, inactive. Or maybe they won't see the flashing lights, but it will just say like inactive or like something like that. That only means that they are not going to be getting their group pairing onwards. So even if your account is not active, you will still get level pairing. So if your business is done in the way where this is you and you're selling product, 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 you're doing all the work, you're selling all the products, you are going to earn your sponsor bonuses and your level pairing, whether or not your account is in active status. What you don't get if your account is not in active status starts from group pairing bonus. Because how we think about group pairing is something that you get when other people in your network start to sponsor people. So they start to open your network wide. And when for most people, when they get group pairing, because like if you're doing the sales, the smart thing for you to do would be to plug in into level pairing, right? So everyone who's doing sales for themselves, they're all maximizing level pairing and completely ignoring group pairing. But if you have people who are doing sales under you, that's when you're going to be getting group pairing. And because group pairing pays out to infinity, we do require that you do the minimum of keeping your account active in order to earn your group pairing, and then following from that, your leadership bonus, etc. Maintaining your account is done through the smart reorder program. So pretend I'm a doctor, right? Like this is how doctors write. So maintenance is done through smart reorder program. And what we have now done is that we have created a second stream of income through the smart reorder in order to act as an engine that gives you a little bit of money from every single person in your network. But if you have a lot of people in your network, then you're going to start getting a lot of money. So, how does that work? Now, if you go into your back office, you're going to see under navigate, scroll down a little bit, you're going to see something called Smart Reorder Program. When you go into Smart Reorder Program, you will see a bunch of products that are largely country specific that are available for you to purchase at a discount. So with the smart reorder program, this is only open for Prife members, right? Because you have to access this through your Prife back office. And if you don't have a back office, you can't even get to the smart reorder program. So if you are not a Prife member, the only way to become a Prife member and join our ecosystem is to buy products at full price. And once you become a Price member, then you can start to buy a bit of products every month under the Smart Reorder program. Because when you buy products from Smart Reorder program, you also get maintenance, and through maintenance, you get to earn your group pairing bonus, etc. So you get two kinds of things in Smart Reorder program. Firstly, off the top, you get a discount based on your account. So what does that mean? If you're a silver, you're going to pay 10% less from the full price. If you're a gold, you're going to pay 20% less. And if you're a diamond, you're going to pay 30% less. So off the top, you're going to be paying not the full price for any products that you buy under Smart Reorder program. This is for the price. The PV of all of the products in Smart Reorder program are 50% from the regular PV. So let's say, for example, when you look under Smart Reorder program, let's say you see the Ion Shield. Ion Shield regularly costs some amount, let's say it's $380. The amount differs depending on the country, but the PV tends to stay consistent, and the PV is 210 PV. So when you go into Smart Reorder, the price that you see will be based on your account. So if you're a silver, you will see the price at 90%. If you're a gold, 80%, diamond, 70%. But the PV that you will see is very consistently half, which is 105 PV. So for you to keep your account active for 1 month, you need 15 PV minimum in a single transaction. And that means that you need to buy a combination of products that are usually at least 30 PV normally. So when it comes to smart reorder, it'll be 15 PV. So if you buy 15 PV worth of products in one transaction, you get maintenance and active status for the next month. So this is the discount that you get on the top. The second thing that you get is what we call your dynamic bonus. And this is a type of overriding that is paid out to you, also based on the rank that you have in Prife International, starting from future stars who get 32% and going all the way up to crown ambassadors who get 50%. And of course, all the people in the middle getting the percentages in the middle. So how does this work? Let's say, for the sake of this example, you are a Future Star Silver account. When you make the purchase as a silver, you're going to get 10% off the price. So you'll be paying 90% of the price of the product. The PV is a flat rate 50% of the PV. But at the end of the month, if you have fulfilled some of the requirements that we have for you, then you will be considered a 32% future star. I'm going to pull up the documents now because now is actually a really good time to get into the actual nitty-gritty of the slides. What's there we go. Give me a second while I pull it up. And I'm also going to be sharing it on in the chat. So you're going to be able to access them as well. Okay, so just so we're all working off the same thing, here are the slide. Here's the slide link. This is a Google Drive by our CTO, Mr. Nathan, who has very kindly prepared these slides for us. So you click on that and you click on business plan, then you're going to see a few things. You're going to see a white paper, which is the long textual explanation. You're going to see the infographic, which is the one-page graphic, and you're going to see the slide, the business plan presentation. And now allow me to share my screen as I get to the slide deck. Jesus Christ, what a time for my computer to lag. Okie dokie, there we go. I guess Mercury is in retrograde or something, given all the tech problems I've been having. But, and again, as we scroll through these, a lot of these would be very familiar to all of you, especially for as we have gone through this presentation. Yes, correct, Kay. So now the only option to do your maintenance is by buying products under the Smart Reorder program. If you have been in Prife before the 1st of March and you have been familiar with other ways to do your maintenance, such as direct maintenance, that is no longer active. Now the only way you can maintain is by Smart Reorder. So this is what I've been talking about, the 10% from the PV as your sponsorship bonus, 35, 40, 50% as your loyalty redemption. Okay, guys. The level pairing bonus, which is 40% from the first pair. And, and again, you see here, these are all examples based on assuming this is a classic, right? 40%, 200 PV, 80, $80. Anyway, I'm not going to get distracted. Group pairing bonus. The smart reorder program. Uh, Man, these slides are wordy. Okay, there we go. Right. So This is what I was talking about. You get a discount off the top when you buy anything. If you're a silver, you get 10% off. If you're a gold, you get 20% off. If you're a diamond, you get 30% off. If you're not in Southeast Asia, ignore the bronze bit. And these are the qualifications that I was talking about. So you can take a screenshot. You don't have to take a screenshot. The slides are available for you. You can take a look at the slides. So in that earlier example, I was talking about, let's say you're a silver future star. When you buy products at the point of purchase, you will get a 10% discount. So you will see 90% of the price. At the end of the month, if you have one person that you have sponsored or anyone in his network who have also done 15, who have also bought 15 PV from the Smart Reorder program, and if you have another person that you have directly sponsored who has bought another 15 PV in the Smart Reorder program. So when we talk about direct groups, each individual person that you sponsor and each individual person that you sponsor and whoever that they manage to sponsor below them is considered one direct group. So for you to start getting the dynamic bonus, you need to have at least two people that you have directly sponsored who may or may not have people below them. So when one person in one direct group could be the person you sponsored or anyone below them, has 15 PV and the second person has 15 PV and you've done 15 PV, you have already gotten 10% when you bought the product, and you will get the remaining 22% at the end of the month if you have fulfilled these qualifications. If let's say you're a diamond future star, as a diamond on the top, you get 30% off the price of the product that you bought. And if by the end of the month you have hit 15 PV in one direct group and 15 PV in another direct group, you will now get the additional 2% as a 32% because you got the 30% discount already. You'll get the additional 2% from your own purchase. You also get this overriding from the purchase of anyone below you, but not in the binary, in the sponsor hierarchy. So if anyone that you have sponsored and that they have sponsored and they have sponsored and so on, if any of them are buying products in the Smart Reorder program, as long as you have a higher percentage than them, whether in terms of account or in terms of rank, you will get that overriding flowing up to you if you meet these qualifications as well. So you get money from your purchase, you get money from the purchase of the people in your sponsor hierarchy, and you get the percentage that goes up based on your rank all the way up to crown ambassadors, which get the highest rank. So quick break to answer Eviliana's question. If you are active into the future with old maintenance, that still counts. That still counts. You are still considered active under the you are still considered active as long as your back office shows that you're active. And for that period of time, you will be earning your group pairing bonus and leadership bonus. And also, if anyone does any smart reorder program purchases below you, and you have a rank and you meet these qualifications, that also counts for you to get this overriding as well. So you get a discount at the point of purchase. You get the remaining percentage if you have a rank based on your purchase, and you get the remaining percentages from anyone below you in your sponsor hierarchy. So the idea with the dynamic bonus is that assuming, of course, always assuming that we have products in your market that are not the blowers, that are not the pieces of technology that are expensive and get people to come in as members. but like a consumable product or something small like that. The idea being that if you have many people who are purchasing these consumables under the Smart Reorder program under you every month, that means that you will get the overriding every month. So in markets where you have a lot of consumable products, then if you can also, as a side business, just teach people to buy consumables that they like every month and follow up with them and just get them to buy it every single month, the money that you get from this uh can accumulate into something a lot bigger. So, not to break your heart there, but we will not be going back to old maintenance. So, for those of you who are not in Malaysia, for those of you who are not in Malaysia, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share this, we have this new thing coming up next month. It's something that is only for members as a member benefit, but is a travel club that gives you a subscription to go for like private family holidays and things like that. I may have said too much about it, but we will not have the option of paying maintenance like before, but we are considering new and interesting things for you to spend money on as part of your maintenance that gives you something rewarding in return. The thing with the past is that, like, like also from like a compliance thing, right? Like there are a lot of like regulations within this industry, and if you get money from people and in return you give them like just LRP, that is kind of not compliant in a lot of countries because there is no real valuable product, right? And LRP is just something that you can use if you want, but it's kind of like we're taking real money and giving you points, which is out of the financial and legal regulations that govern direct sales. So that these are some of the reasons why we cannot go back to old maintenance. However, right now, we are plugging that hole with countries that have a lot of consumables, like in Malaysia, and I know also the Philippines, in India, you guys have Reju. Those are now available under Smart Reorder. And very soon, for everyone around the world, you get to pay a monthly membership to a private travel club that is Prife members only, that is curated, that's going to be have amazing trips around the world that are curated by yours truly, including a 1,000 person fifth anniversary trip in Boracay. So again, all of these are like, until you see something on paper, that's when things are real, right? But I'm working on a bunch of these, so you're gonna have a lot of options for you to like do your monthly maintenance and be able to enjoy the rewards as something that is like true and physical and real. So anyway, just to complete this, so the money that you pay goes into these percentages and gives you money and gives you income in terms of your dynamic bonus. The PV, the PV that is half of like the regular PV goes into the uni level bonus and gives you more income out of that PV based on like the number of generations of sponsors that you have. Meaning, if you sponsor A, he's your direct sponsor, therefore your first generation. If A sponsors A1, A1 is your second generation. If A1 sponsors A11, A11 is your third generation, A second generation, and A1's first generation. If anyone up to nine generations of sponsorship by any products under the Smart Reorder program, the PV that comes from that purchase flows into the uni level bonus, thus giving you income from that as well. So let me give you an example, right? In Malaysia, we have I'm only saying this because it's like the product in my head right now. Or you know what? Let's take the Vitality Energy bracelet. The Vitality Energy bracelet is some dollars, I think like 140 or some dollars, some amount like that. And it's 70 PV, right? So if anyone in your sponsor hierarchy buys a Vitality Energy bracelet through the Smart Reorder program, on the top, they will get that discount based on their rank. After that, you the balance income from so 10 to 30% is given at the point of purchase. From 30 up to 50% percent, the remaining 20% is divided according to your rank and is paid out to you at the end of the month if you have met these qualifications. And 50% of the regular PV, which is now from 70 PV becomes 35 PV, flows into the uni level bonus. So if the person who bought the bracelet is in your first generation, then from that 35 PV, you're going to get 10% of that, which is $3.5. And again, with the binary, with the devices and all of that. The income is bigger because the PV is bigger and the percentages are bigger. But for a lot of people, the bigger amounts that cost the bigger devices that cost a bit of a bigger amount may not necessarily be your daily sales. If you do have daily sales in our devices, fantastic. You're making a ton of money in the binary. But this is now a secondary way to take a look at the products that are lower in price and lower in PV and to create and to create a wave of people who use these mostly consumables every single month and to get a bit of money from that smaller purchase, but to have a lot of people making these small purchases every month and therefore giving you a bit of money every month. That's why we call them two engines. Like the binary engine gives you a lot more money, but the devices cost a lot more and may be more irregular to you in terms of sales. The Smart Reorder program consists of supplements and consumables for the most part, and are lower price products giving you a bit of money. But if you build a huge volume of these people under Smart Reorder program, the money that you make in your dynamic bonus and through the uni level bonus could be a significant part of your monthly income as well through Prife International. And I'm not going to go through these examples. I'm not a fan of like best case scenarios. I'd rather talk about like individual sales. Like in this example, right? With the purchase of this one person buying like NV spec, or assuming that everyone here is buying like NV specs from the uni level, you're going to be getting like all of this just from people buying NV spec. And from the dynamic bonus, you're going to be getting all of this. Now, these amounts are not big, true, but they will add up the more and more people you have. And if and realistically, there are leaders in Prive with like tens of thousands of members who are maintaining every month. So for them, the volume is a lot bigger. So when we talk about the Smart Reorder program, we're talking about the fact that you're going to get that immediate savings through that discount at point of purchase. The PV, assuming it is a minimum of 15 PV in a single purchase, keeps your account active. The price that you pay goes into the dynamic bonus, giving you that overriding based on your rank. The PV goes into the uni level bonus. And it's also now a qualification for something that I just realized I didn't talk about at all, the leadership bonus, which is the matching bonus. But I'll just make this quick. The leadership bonus is 100% entirely based on group pairing bonus earned by people in your family hierarchy only, in your sponsor hierarchy. Meaning, because you can have people in your binary network that you have placed, that your downline have placed, or even that your upline has placed, right? But if you sponsored someone or they sponsored someone and they sponsored someone, These are people in your family hierarchy because they exist because you are a main cause for them entering Prife International. If any of them earn group pairing bonus, specifically only group pairing bonus, if they're making level pairing, you don't get a cut. If they're making sponsor bonuses, you don't get a cut. If they're making group pairing bonus, you get a cut. If anyone that you have directly sponsored is earning group pairing bonus, they're in your first generation, you get 10%, but you need to have one direct group, one person in one direct group that is keeping their account active through the smart reorder program. For from your second generation to your sixth generation, you get 5%, but it also has the requirement of needing active direct groups as well. And then blah blah blah, you go up in rank, you make some money, and when you get to like some high ranks, you get like your global profit sharing. And all of this boils down to 10 different ways of earning money in Prife International. So I'm going to wrap my presentation up here because it has been more than an hour. And thank you for everyone who have tuned in so far. Let me just take a look at the questions to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Let's see. Dr. Param, you're welcome. K, no option of paying maintenance, but I will tell you more about the trip thing. We're going to be launching the trip thing in May, so you're going to be hearing about it sooner than you think. I'm very excited about it. Uh, this is a only benefit, by the way, the trip thing. Like it is open only for members in Prive International. Because we've also realized that like the most fun time people have in Prive Inter because you know, like we get people together for like anniversaries, for like trainings or whatever. Whether or not they enjoy the anniversary event or the training event, they enjoy the holidays we throw. So thinking about it, like why not make it a thing? Why not just start the Prive Travel Club? Have people pay an amount every month that goes into your maintenance, gives you a product, keeps you active, gets you access to a private booking portal that gives you a guaranteed 110% cheaper pricing than anywhere else outside and puts money aside so you can save up money and go on group holidays with Prive members. So now you don't even need to like fork out the money to go on holiday. It is all part of the experience. So that's going to be the Prive Travel Club. I'm speaking a bit too much about it. That's coming up. Ah, Kay, you're in the UK. There's only the Q frequency pendant. So yes, Kay, unfortunately, as of right now, your only option is to purchase the Q frequency pendant every month. But when we have these other things coming up, you will have more options over there. Iviliana, I've answered your question. Kay, yes, we're done. Slides are here. Patricia, LRP prior for active account is valid until some date that we don't know about yet. So if we're announcing the date, we'll have a memo and you got to use up all of your old LRP by then. If you don't, we'll just transfer it to your new LRP. So no big. Um, Thank you everyone else for seeing it. Greetings for everyone. And with that, I see you, Jeanette. With that, love you all. Take care and catch you guys on the next one. Goodbye.